Imagine we lived in a world where the entire wrestling world came together as one. And all of those matches, which were dream matches, well, it didn't matter about contracts or people hating each other. They were just possible. What if AAA, AEW, All Japan, CMLL, Impact Wrestling, and New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Ring of Honor, with WWE and NXT, and Stardom, were all part of one wrestling family? What sort of dream matches could you put on? Well, let's find out. Roll the graphics. Hello there, and welcome to a kind of experiment, but it's less me letting the game do something, more me doing something weird with the game. So as you may have noticed in the before the credits, we're going to be booking a card with all of the major companies. And it's basically just going to be dream matches, which we either A, probably won't get because of contract reasons, or any other reasons. It's essentially it's essentially a standalone video, but if you guys like this and this hits 25 likes, I will do a part 2, because of course Wrestlemania has 2 nights, and with this save will keep going as long as you want it, and it will just be dream matches after dream matches after dream matches. Leave some dream matches in the comment which you'd like to see in this save. Of course, if you do like this, make sure you do hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and hit that bell to get notified for daily TEW 2020 content. And let's get right into the dream matches. We kick off on the pre-show. A more personal dream match, because honestly, I think this match would be hilarious. It's Orange Cassidy versus R-Truth versus Toriano. 3 of the greatest comedy wrestlers of all time. I think, whilst it's not something which you immediately think of with a dream match, not all of these matches are going to be stuff which, like, oh, that's the first thing I think of, because, yeah, I kind of do want there to be future episodes of this. I don't want to blow everything on the first episode. But Orange Cassidy pins Toriano with an orange punch, pinning his Chaos faction mate. It was a comedy match, not too bad. And now we've got our Battle Royales, which is essentially all the people I called up in preparation in case I used them, which I didn't end up using, because I wasn't sure who I was going to use, so basically I just called up loads of people from all of the different companies. So we got, for the women, Alba Fire, Alexa Bliss, Allysin Kay, Athena from representing Ring of Honor, Beth Phoenix, B-Fab, Bianca Belair, probably the most egregious, why didn't I have anything for her? She'll probably get a... Let me know Bianca Belair dream match in the comments down below. Candice LeRae, Carmella, Chelsea Green, Cora Jade, Dakota Kai, Gigi Dolan, Indy Hartwell, Isla Dawn, Jade Cargill, Jamie Hayter, Jordan Grace, Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, Liv Morgan, Maxine Dupree, Meechin, Natalia, Nia Jax, Nikki Cross, Piper Niven, Raquel Rodriguez, Scarlett Bordeaux, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi Blackheart, Sonya Deville, Tamina, Tegan Knox, Thunder Rosa, Tiffany Stratton, Trish Stratus, Xia Li, Zelina Vega, and Zoe Stark. Something else I should point out, all the starting injuries and starting absences have been taken away from this save. This is the October 2023 database. All starting absences, all starting injuries have gone, so we generally do have a full roster here. Gets a 57 rating. Not too shabby. And when it was Bianca Belair who obviously won. The Women's WrestleMania Battle Royale. Now for the men, there were a lot more men, so we just had 2 battle royals and the winners are going to face off later on. Although this is telling me not great. So, we've got 16 in this match, let's read through. We've got Ace Austin, Adam Cole, Adam Copeland, Adam Page, AJ Styles, Akira Tozawa, Andrade El Idolo, Angelo Dawkins, Anthony Bound, Apollo Crews, Ashanti Adonis, Austin Theory, Bandido, Baron Corbin, Big Bill, Billy Gunn, Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, Buddy Matthews, Butch, Cameron Grimes, Carmelo Hayes, Cedric Alexander, Chad Gable, Chris Bay, Chris Jericho, Christian Cage, Claudio Castagnoli, Cruz del Torres, Damian Priest, Dexter Lumis, Dominic Mysterio, Dustin Rhodes, Eddie Kingston, Elio Del Vikingo, Elton Prince, Eric, Finn Balor, Giovanni Vinci, Grayson Waller, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Ilya Dragunov, Ivar, Jagger Reed, Jay White, JD Madonna, Jinder Mahal, Joaquin Wild, Juice Robinson, Jun Akiyama, Kaito Kiyomiya, Carl Anderson, Karrion Kross, Keith Lee, Kenta Miyahara, Kit Wilson, Kofi Kingston, Commander, Carl Fletcher, and LA Knight. And it's LA Knight who picks up the win. But we're going to quickly change that because he's broken his ankle. So, we're going to give it to a WWE guy because that was the point. That this one was a WWE guy winning. So, we'll give it to Ilya Dragunov. Just absolutely. And now let's quickly go and change the final match later. And we jump back in for our final pre-show match, which is the second half of our Battle Royale, featuring Laredo Kid, Ludwig Kaiser, Luke Gallows, Malachi Black, Mark Davis, Mascara Dorado 2.0, Max Caster, Mike Bailey, Minoru Suzuki, Montez Ford, MVP, Mr. C's Jr., Naruki Doi, Odyssey Jones, Omos, Otis, Penta El Zero, Randy Orton, Rey Fenix, Rey Mysterio, Ricky Starks, Ricochet, Rich Horns, Robert Roode, Rocky Romero, Roderick Strong, Sami Zayn, Sanada, Sanga, Santos Escobar, Shingo Takagi, Shinsuke Nakamura, Solo Sikoa, Swerve Strickland, Tetsuya Naito, The Miz, Vin Mahan, Xavier Woods, Zion Quinn, and Zack Sabre Jr. Whew, that's a lot of names. But it's Swerve Strickland who picks up the win, Ricky Starks in the final elimination, Rey Mysterio and Sami Zayn getting to the end. Which means our match later on for the Andre the Giant will be Swerve Strickland versus Ilya Dragunov. And now we jump into the main show with a Beef Boys match. Bobby Lashley versus Brian Cage versus Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre versus Miro versus Samoa Joe versus Sheamus versus Kevin Owens versus Brody King versus Braun Strowman. It's just 10 beefy boys going for 10 minutes. Brock Lesnar picks up the win when he pins Brian Cage with an F5. He was the standout in the match, getting a 77. But it's a bit of fun. I didn't have any direct matches for any of these guys because I might be saving some of them. So we just had the 10-man beef battle. And here's the Swerve versus Ilya Dragunov match, and it is Swerve who picks up the win, pinning Dragunov just over 16 minutes. Swerve's the Andre the Giant winner in this universe. Although I will point out, these are the only titles that are actually on the line on this show. Because all the other titles are gone, as if this is a fresh universe, sort of like a Battle Bowl universe, where all of these different wrestling companies have come together. There's no real championships involved at the moment. We may end up doing championships if we go further in this save, but 70 rated just for now. Next up, we've got a tag team match featuring 4 of the greatest Joshis of the modern era. Mayu Iwatani and Utami Hayashishita representing Stardom against Kairi Sane and Io Sky of Damage Control. And it is Io Sky who picks up the win, tapping out Hayashishita with a cloverleaf in just over 12 minutes. These guys go full out for that 12 minutes. I believe, yeah, I think they go full out. No, they don't. They just have a 12-minute match. Gets a 69 for Sky, a 60 for Sane, a 66 for Iwatani, and a 64 for Hayashishita. 69 overall, pretty good stuff. A tag team match here with technically our first team with different backgrounds. because we got DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa against Los Hermanos Lee, Dragon Lee and Dralistico. And it is Los Hermanos Lee who pick up the win. Dragon Lee hitting Johnny Gargano with the incineration knee. 69 for Dragon Lee, 54 for Dralistico, 67 for Gargano, 59 for Ciampa. Both teams have excellent chemistry together. You know, if we do have a part 2 to this episode, the tag team division that we've got to work with here is phenomenal. But a 68 rating overall. Tag team specialist, the announcers, at the end of the day, I just stuck with Graves and Cole for the show. It was easier to do that than just scouring through each company's announcers to find someone. Let's just stick with the decent ones they've got. I believe this is a storytelling match here. Yep. Timeless Toni Storm versus Rhea Ripley. 72 for Ripley, 47 for Storm's a little disappointing actually, to get a 62 overall. But Ripley picks up the win with a Riptide, and it is, you know, it's these two Australian girls. They've been going back and forth for years. You know, they were the first 2 NXT UK Women's Champions. They've used to feud on the British Indies. They feuded in NXT. Don't think they ever feuded on the main roster. Then Toni went off to AEW and became timeless. So it's a bit of a storytelling match. You've got Mami versus the Timeless One. 2 great character performers in the women's division. I thought this would be a fun match, both in-ring and storyline-wise. But Rhea Ripley picks up the win, which based on those ratings, right, cool. Kazuchika Okada versus Konosuke Takeshita. Takeshita representing DDT. Okada of Chaos and New Japan Pro Wrestling gets a 66 overall, as a 65 for Takeshita and a 63 for Okada. Okada probably the biggest star in Japanese wrestling of the last 10 years. I think, 2014 to now probably is the biggest star. Takeshita, hey, he may hold that role for the next 10 years. Which is insane considering how young Okada still is. He's an old guard now. He's in his mid-30s still. But 66 overall is pretty good stuff. Now this is a match which a lot of people will be looking at like, huh? Of all the matches you could have gone with, you went with that one. And you know what? You're right. It is a weird match to put on such a dream card show. But I also thought back, one of the ways I was putting this together was I was thinking, what are my favourite matches of all time? What's a modern way to do that? And one of my favourite matches of all time is Masato Tanaka versus Mike Awesome. And thanks to one of our purchases in this save being Noah, we get Masato Tanaka. So I was thinking, who would be the person to have a ridiculous hardcore match with very little awareness for self-preservation? Oh, Moxley. Moxley obviously picks up the win, tapping Tanada out with the Bulldog choke. Gets a 61 overall, 66 for Moxley, and a 44 for Masato Tanaka. Well, a big part of this save was thinking, well, everything's in the context of what's happening now. So, like, I couldn't re-put together the Usos. So right now, probably one of the biggest dream matches these two could have is against each other. They've never had that match, I don't think, ever. So Jimmy versus Jay is a high-profile match, which is fitting of this save. And it is Jay who picks up the win because, let's be realistic, out of the two since the split, only one of them has been great, and that is the main event guy, Jey Uso. He's on his own as a tag team champion with Cody Rhodes previously. But we ignore that, of course. 67, good stuff. Asuka versus Hikaru Shida. Gets a 63 overall. 50 minutes. Asuka hits a 65, 53 for Shida. And in the end, Asuka picks up the win with a spin kick. It is just, again, another fun Joshi match. Two people from different companies who I'd want to see wrestle. I think Asuka and Shida would be a fun match. I'm not going to really give it much more context than that. MJF beats Logan Paul in 1547 with Salt of the Earth. Taps out Logan Paul. Because, boy, these are... I think current babyface MJF against punchable dickhead Logan Paul would be the perfect combination. You can't get much better than that. And to be fair, it's actually been one of the best matches we've had on this show. 71, a 70 from MJF, and a 63 from Logan Paul. I will not say no to that. Bit of a junior heavyweight clash here as IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. In real life, of course, not in the universe. Hiromu Takahashi takes on Darby Allin, and basically in the battle of two people who will happily put their entire bodies on the line to win a match. This may turn into a mini save, a secondary save, which, happens, which I'll only show the pay-per-views of. Which will happen on, maybe on the Sunday slot, I'm not certain yet, but that depends on how well this video does. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see this become a bit of a pay-per-view only save, where I tell I book these shows and then show you the stories on pay-per-view. 64 though, these two, they just throw themselves at each other. Not too bad. Yeah, they've pretty good kept. That does not surprise me in the slightest. Bryan Danielson versus Gunther. What a meat-slapping match. Which is hilarious, because Bryan Danielson is not a big guy. But that's the thing, this is Bryan Danielson. This isn't Daniel Bryan. And I think there's a very distinctive difference. Daniel Bryan was the ultimate underdog. Bryan Danielson is someone who you realistically believe could kick anyone's head in. I do think there's a big difference in the way AEW and ROH presented Danielson compared to WWE presenting Bryan. And I think Bryan Danielson versus Gunther would be a phenomenal match. I think Gunther, rightful winner. Gets a 75 in the game, a 76 for Danielson and a 72 for Gunther. But I think, if this save does go further down, I'd say in Mania 42, this could be a 100 rated match. Danielson and Gunther are those sort of wrestlers where they could get you that 100. Two other wrestlers who are phenomenal in ring. Seth Rollins versus Will Ospreay gets a 72, and it is Ospreay who picks up the victory with the Stormbreaker, because I didn't just, whilst obviously in the game they're all going to have a lot more pop, I didn't just want this to be a WWE guys beat other guys. I think that's a bit... I want this to actually feel like, no, all of these guys are WWE guys. I think that was the biggest mistake made with the Invasion. They treated the WCW guys as, WCW guys, despite the fact they were under WWF contracts. They were WWF guys. They were in WWF investments. Yet they just treated them as if, they're other people's guys. We don't need to worry about that. So Ospreay picks up the win here. Gets a 72 for Rollins, a 71 for Ospreay. 72 overall. I think, again, this is another one which, a couple of years' time, rerun this match. High 90s. Not too bad. I actually gave this one an epic. Fatal 4-way between the 4 horsewomen. Mercedes Moné, Bayley, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch. Gets a 69 rating, which is actually a little disappointing, But it is
Becky, who picks up the win, pinning Bayley with a manhandle slam. I think, logically, that is probably the most sensible booking of these four. I think, whilst all four of them have been absolute amazing stars for the WWF, I do think Bayley is treated almost at a level below the rest of them, which I don't think is necessarily fair. I think Bayley is a phenomenal talent in her own right, and she is amazing. I think being compared to the other three is always going to be difficult. A 69 rating though, good stuff. 60 for Monet, 58 for Bayley, 65 for Flair, and a 73 for Becky Lynch. Cody Rhodes defeats John Cena just under 20 minutes with a crossroads. 76 overall, 77 for Cody, and a 73 for John Cena, which I believe only leaves 2 matches left. And CMFTR versus the Elite. CM Punk and FTR versus Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Because, oh wow, this is... Now, this is also a chance because CM Punk has, of course, massively been in the news again today with his return at Survivor Series last night. And I think... I don't know, I think maybe FTR might end up heading back to WWE as the Revival again. Although, you know, there's part of me which thinks the Young Bucks could end up leaving AEW in real life. With the whole being the Elite ending, their new copyrights coming through. It does almost feel like they're packing down from the Elite stuff. But in this universe, they're all friends, they're all willing to work together. And we have the match. And in a hilarious pinning combination, it's Dax Harwood who pins Kenny Omega with the leg hook Saito suplex. Omega gets the highest performance of the match with a 77, Punk second with a 73. The Bucks both outscore FTR. But I do think this is one of those dream matches where, in reality, a lot of the other matches on this card could happen. Cody versus Cena, you know, there's another strike. That could happen. Rollins versus Ospreay. Ospreay is still young. Give him a few years in AEW. He may end up going to WWE after that contract. Gunther versus Danielson. Unlikely, considering Danielson's considering retirement, but not impossible. This match, I genuinely believe, will never happen in reality. But we're not in a reality here, are we? 70 rating. And the main event, Roman Reigns versus The Rock. It's the main event I could think of for a dream match card. A lot of people obviously be upset not seeing Reigns versus Cody and Cody finishing the story, but remember, in this universe, there's no titles. Yet. They may come back if we do more parts, but this was just wrestlers wrestling. And it's an 87 for Reigns and a 79 for The Rock. It's an 82 overall. And there we go. If you had every single major wrestler signed to a major company at your fingertips in TEW, get an 86 without even having a match that good, we get an 86. I think I may have put some boosts on this, I actually don't know. Well, it's Mania, it probably has default boosts. But what dream matches would you like to see? Say if there is a part 2 to this, which will happen if this video does well, I will do a part 2 to this, where we'll either do the second night of WrestleMania or we'll move to Backlash, and we'll do some more dream matches. But what dream matches would you like to see? You know, we are pretty much talking any wrestler in the world here. All out. Based on the October 2023 mod. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification to be notified whenever there's a new upload of TEW content. And well, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.